All right, all you devils out there, happy Monday. Well, let's see. So I'm doing this at it's 11:45 here. Normally I'd be doing a live stream today, but I've got kind of a mix here between members that have posted charts and then at my request, I was looking for some more content, so we've got a number here without charts. And so I thought I would do it this way rather than risk getting bogged down in a tricky count that can be for some very boring video watching, particularly in a live stream format. So same analysis here. It just gives me a little bit of a head start so I don't get stuck working on something here. So one of the accounts I got in here was CN Salazar asking for a look at the daily on Apple. Well, boy, that was a good bit of time here to work that out. So with that in mind here, I'm going to do this format, and then I'll post where each of the assets start. So if you have one particular asset you're interested in and want to look at that, you can go to it directly and skip the rest of it. So we're going to start out here with a look at ETH. Now this is from James M, giving us some really nice looking work here. No surprise, James M now being newest member of the team as a sensei. So Sensei James M giving us a look here at ETH. Now this I have the exact same, very similar count. It's pretty much the simplest way to approach it. Now, note here, the one thing I'll make a point of. If we look here, we're going from a range here of 877 to 2,000. You know, and we're not quite 3 to 1 here. So staying in arithmetic here is very reasonable. It is interesting though. So if we look from this low to this high, if we come down here, now you'll see we're in the what I would call the platinum zone. So we're through the golden and we've pinged here the 707 square root of 50. So we're right in this platinum zone. Now, interestingly, if I put it in log here, now we hold above the golden zone, but I do think the appropriate, right? I mean, the log arithmetic back and forth is, I admit it's kind of annoying, right? So you don't get the exact specificity on how to look at it. But I do think the 3 to 1 or even 4 to 1 is a good mile marker, for lack of a better term, right? So if we see 4 to 1, you pretty much have to go into log scale. Here, this would be a judgment call. I think you're absolutely fine here. But now, of course, if you were to pull back out to a daily and you're looking at the full history of ETH, then going to log scale would probably make sense, right? So some people like 3 to 1. I tend to 4 to 1 is kind of where I'm definitely going to log here. But we are in arithmetic. That's how he sent it to me. So we're going to keep it this way. So 1, 2. Now, this is tight, right? But this is just barely higher. So while it's tempting to think, A, B, C, right? We just got a flat. Because we get a higher low here, barely, but it is a higher low. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here looks like a clean impulse, kind of a very typical 4. We got a little diag into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get a good 1. So this, I think, would not be in dispute. I think there's, I can't remember, right? I know this is technical here, so we got a little front run. Again, I think in log scale it looks even better. So here we get this, maybe not. Well, either way here, perhaps that's a little front run on the 50. Hard to tell, right? It's close enough to where that could be a front run. That would now create. Does it matter, right? The point of doing that is just to kind of evaluate, how technically are we moving here? This would be an obvious contender. We'd want to see this. Is this algo driven? Well, you can know what I'm going to tell you, right? I mean, where is it not algo driven, right? So here, there's the clean tick to tick shot from the golden zone to the first target, right? So that clears. Pretty sure anyone watching here, I don't need to give you the rationale there. We know this is the dominant algo in the market, and there it is yet again on the sell side. Now remember, right, it's on both sides, so we never know which one's going to hit. But right now, you would certainly give the advantage to the bears, right? Because we've got a break from the low to high, right? We've got a slight, but it's not, we have closes below the 65. So no question, the buy side algo has broken here. Now, how do we get another one, right? There's always a question. Well, wait a minute, what does that mean? I have to sell it? Well, the implication here is for lower prices. If this is going to resolve down here for a 5, well, here's where we would get the next, if we get a golden zone here, now we're looking for algo support to drive it out of here. So the count here is very clean. There's one little, again, I think expecting Elliott Wave to all these counts to come out perfectly is certainly is unrealistic, right? To be looking for perfection in the market is, I think probably not the way you want to approach it. What we want to look for is what is the swing structure implying? Well, if we look at it here, I mean, again, it's pretty. There's a 5, there's a 3. Now, is this 3 done? Well, this is where, flexing a little Elliott skill can add to that evaluation. Well, I've got a pretty good 5 down here. This would be, you could probably turn it into an A, right? A B, and now we're working on a C. Pardon me. We could probably turn this into a WXY. And I say that because as we go into this triangle, and James made the note here that if we look at it here, so often I just draw it this way so we can really see what the swing structure is implying. So we'd put in our 3 here. We'd likely be putting in our 4 here, and we'd come down. Well, we don't have to go terribly far, but this range here, the high volume node here, would be kind of a logical target. So we'd be kind of looking like that. All right, and as James noted in his post, the 1-2 relative to the width of the 4, because if we're going through a triangle here, well, we have good alternation, but the time isn't particularly good. So what would be an alternate? I'm not saying we need an alternate, but just for the student of Elliott trying to think here, okay, well, what if it's not 1, 2, 3 and we're doing triangle 4, what could it be? Well, the other place we could find a triangle, we could have an A, we could have a B, and then we could have a C, which would then, working backwards, you'd be thinking X, and then let's see how we could do this. So there actually is a pretty decent fit here. You'd have to do it along these, something like this. Squeeze it in here. A, B, C to get you a W. So just, again, I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong. I'm just saying here's an alternate. They imply the same thing. So how do we make that distinction? Well, if this is a B and we're looking for a C, well, okay, we're looking for 5 down. If it's 4 and a 5, we're looking for a 5 down. So either way, depending on regardless of how you're counting this, the implication here as we sit in this consolidation is that to come out of this consolidation, if we come lower, we'll be completing either an ABC or an impulse. So it's a matter of kind of pick your poison, right? Which one looks better? Well, this is a bit of a squeeze, right, to try and get that into an ABC. Is that a force fit? Well, that wouldn't be my first thought. Again, my first thought would be exactly as James has it, but because him attending to this and just recognizing here, for purists are going to look at that and say, is there a better way to count it? Is there an alternate? I don't know that we need to do that, but it's always good to try and challenge yourself and say, well, if not this, then what else could it be? So I just bring that out as a candidate, not because that's my preferred interpretation of where we are here. I think this looks pretty solid. Now, right, so, I mean, triangles, always a little tricky, right, until it's done, right? So how would we interpret this if we start to do that? Right, that's going to get a little trickier. Well, we'll cross that bridge if we get to it, right? Well, let's not create a problem for us if we don't need to. Again, so if this is A, B, C, D, E, well, then the implication would be 1, 2. So, let's go to a 2 hour. All right, so as he has it labeled, the 4 is in. We've got a 1. We're working on a 2. Okay, well, this is just standard operating. We know this, right? We're right in the pocket for the 2, or pardon me, for what would be a 1, 2 relative to finishing the 5 down here. So you might as well label it 1, 2. Right? We'd be 3, 4, 5. Now that's too big a degree, so we can go ahead. I guess we'll have to go to the super skinny mini. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would get us down here for a 5 to give us, the C, or it's most likely here. And we'd have a 2 going in. So if I stack them up here, and just the wild card, if it was going to resolve something that would cause us to reinterpret this, perhaps that's not worth keeping up here unless we're forced to be looking for an alternate count. Right now, I don't see a reason for it. So, I mean, classic 4, right, was B or 4, right? We're going sideways. We're not progressing the trend, right? Sideways, right? High volume node, technical levels, and a pattern that we see repeating. Does that mean short it? Well, that's up to the individual. So why would you be thinking, I might want to short it here? Well, you'd have a pretty low risk trade here, wouldn't you? I'll probably use the, any of these pivots. What do we know here, right? All of these pivots are going to be targets for liquidity grabs. All of this, you could call this damn near equal highs. Pretty close to it. So we can, I forget we're here. Something like this, right? So we can look at all of this as potentially a liquidity grab. But if we go up here, right? So we can't, if this is the 4 and we're going to go 1, 2, well, if we're going up here, okay, whoa, account has to be reevaluated. So using this pivot as the 4 seems like a reasonable place to get a low risk trade on. What do we get there? 6 to 1. Now, we don't know, right? You got to just use a little bit of judgment, right? So the channel, right? We know James loves channels, right? He's made it a cornerstone of his TA, as he should, as an Elliottician. 1, 2, 3, sideways 4, we're coming down, right? So here's, well, here, let's make it super easy, right? I'd go a tick or two beyond that. Well, if it's 1, oh shit, you can do 1 tick, right? 1, 2, 2 cannot go beyond 4, so you got a pretty low risk trade there. So would I take it? Sure, why not? Now, I'm very long ETH, right? So it would just be a hedge on my existing holdings. Keep that in mind, right? So, something like that. Sure, that might be too much, right? But there's 5 to 1. Now, if we start to rally here, this is going to get challenging. That would be interesting. Probably be back here in a day or two if we start to get some legs here, trying to get a handle on this. But right now, I don't see any reason to think other than the next move to resolve this position to complete the pattern here would give us an ABC down here at, let's call it a grand 50. Would be kind of right in line with all of this consolidation here, somewhere in this range. Now you don't. So then your next thought would be, if we're going to put in a low down here, oh man, if I can get a higher low, is this an area to be thinking about getting long? Well, I know I'll be looking there, but I want to see a good clean 5 come down here and finish this, so I get a little conviction. Then, as is, I've sold 1,000 times. Okay, well, how do we break this pattern? Right, well, we need a higher low, right? Starts there. Always a trend change starts with a higher low. Right now, can I get something started there? All right, so that's a pretty good look at ETH, right? Very nice count from James. Thanks for posting that. I think that's all he got for me here. Okay, so let me stop there here, and I'll be right back here. I've got 10 of discs is giving me gold. Okay, so back on. Okay, guys, next up I got 10 of discs. Now 10 of discs, as I sent you a DM here, the link that you sent me had your dollar, right? This is actually what you sent me over here was the dollar, was the work you're doing on the dollar. So I don't have your gold, so I thought I would just bring it up. I was hoping maybe yours would show up here, but it didn't. So I'm just working from a blank chart. This is a tricky one. It's actually I had to bail on my first attempt here because this got a little trickier than I thought. And rather than try and edit here, I'd come back here and show you why this is a bit deceptive, because as you look at it here on the weekly, it looks like it fucking counts itself, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How hard can that be? Well, it gets a little tricky over here, right? If you're trying to get a clean count. Now, it would be easy this wouldn't be my style, but it would be easy to just go, 3, 4, we're working on it. Okay, we're going up, right? So here's the ping at the 50. Here's the target. Okay, yeah, fine, until you start to dig into that count a little bit more and see, okay, well, if I'm going to follow rules and guidelines here, do I have a clean finish coming down here? Well, not so fast. Now, what I am amazing, but I am going to contradict myself in the context that I have the range here to be looking at this in log scale, but going to log doesn't really, it's not adding value for me. It's not making it, give me a better look at it. I think we can get a pretty good read here in arithmetic. So what are we going back to 74? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks easy. Now this a little tricky here. We got to go with it's not an expanded B, so we got to go with a running flat here to truncate the C. Right? It's tempting to think triangle, right? A, B, C, D, E, but right, that's a hard rule you can't break. So we got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, ripper in the 5th to give us the extension there to get the 1, 2, 3. Now it's the 4 that's challenging. Oh. Right, at first glance, you're thinking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, slow down. It's not quite there. You can't quite get it to work. Well, of course, there's an impulse right here, but then you got to think a little bit creatively. Okay, well, how am I How am I going to deal with what's come next? Because it's tempting to think this, right? Oh, what's the big deal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you know, we're right. Well, try and get an impulse in there. Not so easy, right? So this is a little tricky here. I think we've got to expand the B. I mean, as I've right, we'll very consistently tell you, if I can get an impulse done here, and we're very consistent, right? This is beautiful. Come here, beautiful channeling here. It's almost we go into a wedge. Oh shit, what happened there? Let's try that again. I'll work it from this side. Over here to our 3. Pretty good looking impulse to complete here. But now this, I'll see a better way to do it here. So A, we've expanded the B. Now we're not too far. So if we go from here and say, okay, are we technical on that retrace? I'm going to go, doubles here. So see how we look. So we're right to the pocket here. This is a high probability. So it's 138, 1414 here. So we're pinging that. Now if we come up here, now of course, the anticipation would be something that would be technical. But now what are we going to draw? What are we going to pull from? Well, remember the algo doesn't care about your Elliott count. So let's go. Oh, here, we'll just do the full set of them here. So as Elliotticians, we might look here saying, okay, A, we're expanding the B. It's technical. Now we're going to come back for that C. Now, are we going to go this high? Right? Are we going to do it A, B, C? Right? Well, you've got a big supply zone here. Gold likes to respond to the 50s, right? It likes 707s, 1272. Right? You know, you're going to see golden zones, of course, but it's not uncommon to see this. So we'd have one target here, second target down here, but you're trying to get this to finish a 5 down here. You got a good start on it, but this has gotten a little wonky. So, you know, potentially you're setting up for a double top. Let's get you out of here, right? But I would want to get a good clean look at this 5 before I started thinking about getting into some sort of a short there. A, B, C. 3, 4, 5. Come down here, 1450. Well, you know, so money keeps plowing into the dollar. Oh, what'd you give me here? Oh shit, you gave me a 5-minute. Well, you can see we got a little bit of a correction going on over here. But again, if the dollar is going to be, where's that my dollar? We're kind of the safe haven. Let's come back here. I won't digress into that. If the dollar is going to be a safe haven here, you know, why, right, is gold the inflation hedge? Well, you can say the same thing about Bitcoin, right? Has it become the inflation hedge? Not yet, anyway. So here, let the TA guide you. I think usually a mistake to try and read the tea leaves fundamentally here. What does the technical suggest to us if you're a technical trader? You know, we don't want to be oblivious to the fundamentals, but let the technicals guide you here. Right now, this looks like a reasonable location to be pursuing a short, right? So something, boy, if you could get it in that demand zone here, right, and you get very clear parameters, the target would be, minimum target would be the low, 6.5 to 1. We get a true 3, 10 to 1. Lots of choices how to trade it. You can trade it in the futures market. You could trade it in the FX market. You can trade the CFD. You can trade options on it. You're going to have to buy some time here, right? We're going out into next year. So that's always the trade-off with options, right? You got to pay for time to give yourself a chance to be right. Of all those choices, it's pretty good dose of margin. If you're going to hold futures contracts here, I might be more inclined to be thinking options and maybe an option spread to reduce the cost. So maybe you sell a call spread to pay for a put and look to sell a put to offset the cost of the put minus what you got back on the credit spread. If you don't know options, forget what I just said. Okay, ABC. So, but my point being here right now, the next trade looks like it. Well, pardon me, I shouldn't say that. We got a 5 here. So if we get a 1, 2, why not take the 3, 4, 5? Right, so you've got a long sitting up here. The broader swing structure for the bigger play is to be looking for that. So you could take the long to the short, right? So look for that next 2 because the anticipation here, assuming, right? I'm not saying this is the correct count. This is a count. If you see it similarly, get a 1, 2 here. You got a low risk long. Come up here, you got a low risk short. All right, guys, good stuff there. Okay, thanks for that one, 10 of dis. I'm sorry we didn't get that right here, but this is kind of an interesting example. Okay, I got a few. Oh boy, I got a cluster here. Almanahi, Nav, Orly, Fast Rev. Okay, so I got a few coming at you. Okay, so stand by. Okay, guys, I got CN Salazar here. We got an update on GNRC, and then he wants just a quick look at Google as well. It looks like that one's pretty straightforward. So let's start. Both of these are pretty straightforward, although it's a little tricky over here. Oh, let's go to Generac. I think we looked at this last week, so clearly this is one he likes. Again, pretty straightforward out here. Just looking big swing structure. Hard to miss it. Again, it kind of counts itself. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right to the 38. Interesting, right? Now we're on a daily here. I'm going all the way back full history, and he's got the Sonar Labs. I mean, it's decent, right? I mean, the little demand zone finder here, or order block finder. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Well, okay, just you know, I do these just to kind of see. Okay, well, just how technical are we here? If that's a 1, oh shit, that's a 2. Now note we are in log. Let's get that dialed in there. Little shy here of the prime zone here. You're kind of right in between, but boy, what a good looking rip here for that third. So okay, all right, not a precise. I would imagine we'd find some precision in there. This looks like a let's see. That's going to be the 4 before we make that last push here up into this. Looks like the 4, the 5 here, and then we 1, 2, 3. Now it's a little tricky coming down here. I saw not so fast. I think what you've sent me some very short-term charts. Well, it looks like because this looks. How are you going to do this here? Well, this looks like a 3. So in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this looks like, what did I take? It looks like you're going to go from here A. Well, let's put it here. See here, so let's perhaps what we're looking at here, X. Well, let's keep it simple if we can, right? So I was just considering the possibility here. We've got a truncation. We'd go ABC here, but let's keep it simple. All right. So if this were a W here and we were done, right, with the extension here, nice looking impulse here, all self-contained by channeling A, B, C. All right. I can live with the A, B, C, and that X. Now we'll see, right? If this continues to stall here, head lower, it's possible we'd move this over here, but let's not go there yet. That's the abnormal, so let's not go there yet. So what does that leave, right? So we'd be looking now at an A. Oh, let's put it here. A, B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's working on he's trying to get it done down here. He's trying to get it done. So pinging the 38 here, and then do we have a decent start here? Oh, I think he gave me a 15-minute. Now, careful about forcing something here. This is not a great looking impulse off the low. So I guess we're gonna work this as 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not gory. I'm down to a 60. Okay, let's say we're going to allow for that as an impulse. A, B, waterfall into the C. A little bit of a little consolidation here, but ultimately we get out of it. Now you're going with. Jesus, I think you sent me a 15 minutes. So let's see if we can make that work here. So do we like this here as an impulse? Okay, let's stay with it right here to see per your interpretation. So we'll bring that down. Okay, A, B, C. All right, we come into the demand. We get a little reaction. Plenty of supply overhead. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's get it fully labeled. 1. Oh, that's a little big. 1, 2, 1, 2. So 3, 4, 5. Let's get that something more reasonable. This is a little heavy as well. Okay, so ABC into a proposed 2 down at the 15-minute. You know, so this is another one where fundamentally you can look at this and say, well, I can see how there would be demand for this. Crisis scenarios. I'm sure there's plenty of people in Florida wishing they had Generac, assuming it wouldn't be underwater. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would want to see this progress a little bit more because you're going 1, 2, 1, 2, and you don't. We're at 15. So the subdivision here breaks down, right? So you're kind of stuck with making do here. Sometimes it can be useful to go to a line chart. See, okay, are we getting a better look at it here? 1, 2. Is this a force fit here? Did we really finish there? I'd be iffy on that. You know, I really think it's a mistake. I mean, really rarely do I go below 15 minutes on a long-term swing chart like this. Personally, I'd give this a little more time. I guess so. If we think about it, what else could be going on, right? So perhaps we've got an A, B, C. If we start to pull back into context here, yeah, I know we hit the 38, but do we have a good C here? Well, this is slightly higher. Pretty damn close. I can sure get what looks like an impulse here, a nice little 3 here. This would be, so the 4, 5 idea, I would keep that somewhere in your, if not chart it out as an alt in the back of your head. Well, it's easy to forget them. All right, so how would this look here? I mean, second most common, right? So it's not disappointing when we don't hit the 1618, but what else are you going to call that? I mean, sure looks impulsive, right? So something has completed here. Is it a 3? Is it a C? I think this might be a little bit overly optimistic. At least something's got to give you a good-looking finish here, because if you get an impulse here, boy, you can see how that would tee up. Just to get, again, I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong, just kind of giving you another little fuel for thought here. Right into the demand zone here. Now, do we get it? Something like that. We're going to get a. Remember, we don't. You know, if you're a bear here and you're looking for a short, it doesn't matter, bull or bear. You really don't want a 4 to be going to the 618. Well, let's finish it here. We'll get this wicked off here. So if we got this, right, low risk trade. A little overlap here. Now you're thinking about a diag, but this sure looks like it'll be fairly clean. No, maybe not. Not so fast. Right, this can't be the 3. Well, maybe it can. Jesus, here. Come on. Yep, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so we can get that done. Now, on the assumption here, we're going to push the B over. A, B, C into that B. This is the alternate here, and why this is a bit of a tricky count. If that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I guess this would be your alternate. Oh, let's come over 1. All right, not to disregard the potential here that we've got a low in. All right, so, oh, pardon me, we do overlap. Just wick, right? So we're back to where we were. Good possibility here. The 3s here, the 1s here, the 2s here, and the B rolls over 1. 1, 2, 3. All right, careful. Okay, so that would give you a few things to think about there. Anyone who's interested in trading this or CN, I mean, just for your own here. So let's get a little geometry on that. All right, I'd keep that in mind as well. 1. So you'd have 2 of them here kind of competing with overthrow. You know, the implication being you're going to get some overthrow here. Now, if you don't and it rolls over, well, you know, likely the 4 still remains to be found down here, deeper than the 38. You got to really be interested in this company. Now I haven't looked at any of their fundamentals, so I can't speak to that. But here's what I see. Sideways. Now could be 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to get out of here. But I'd like to see something start to get more impulsive before I started getting aggressively long. Just my input for what that's worth. Right? Okay, CN. Oh, I've got your Google here. Let me make a note here. That's 9:30. 9:30. All right, so I can tee it up in the chapters. So I think you've got alphabet over here. This is good work here. So we're going. What are we going back? 2014, 13, 14. So we're starting here. So he's getting the 1 done here, And it looks like he's working through an A, B, C right here. So we're going to expand, come down. So expanded flat into the 2. Whoa, looks like he's going to have to do it. Now, note, we are in log scale. We're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which does work in log. Working on a 5 coming down. Oh, let's see here. I might put the 1 here. A, B, C. And that could have just gotten moved a little when I opened it up. 1, A, B, C, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could be done, right? Could be done. You have an A. I wouldn't shy away from that implication, right? We're going yet still more to come, right? If we done, we don't know that we are, but that wouldn't be unreasonable right there. It looks like we got the 618 to the tick, right? In terms of, what are you giving me here? 1 from the, what did you give me there? Oh, that's length of the 1 from the 4, right? Second most common. If we're not gonna go through that and get to the 100, we'll do the 618. So you got a candidate for the A. Now, do we get a 3 into a B? Well, you can see you probably got a nice little demand zone here. Oh, I'd use all of that. So in for the B. Or pardon me, I shouldn't say that. Supply zone. Excuse me. All right, so A, perhaps some supply up here. Down for the 4. That would be golden zone relative to the 2. Well, here, sometimes it's hard for me to see when they have theirs set differently. Yeah, would be golden zone. And all of this structure here. So one to watch. They've been pretty pessimistic about the economy here, and they would certainly have a good read on it in terms of advertising spend. No requirement we go here, but it would appear that would be a logical spot. So let's see how the algos are going to interpret it. Right, that's worked out nicely. Now here we come right down to the 50. No requirement that we'd be getting the algo target here. No requirement that we go 618. I'd prefer it stayed at the 50, right? If I'm looking for a long, I think I've mentioned that a couple of times here. We don't want a 4 going that deep. Ideally, right? If we can ask for ideal. Okay, there we go. Got both of those covered. Thanks, CN Salazar for that. Oh shit! And then you gave me the third one, which took. I started on that and I thought, oh God, we're gonna have to do this as pre-recorded because that took me about 15 minutes. That's a tricky count, right? So what am I talking about? He's asking for a daily on Apple. So let me pause here. I'll bring that up. Okay, I got next up, Al-Manahi's giving us a request for XLM to the dollar tether on Binance. Also Bitcoin Cash, which I'll get to next. Okay, well, this is, once again, it's fairly straightforward. Good one for those of you that, need more, hard to believe there would need to be more, but more confirmation as to how dominant the algo we reference is. So I've got a pretty clean impulse on the way up, and we've come down here and we've stalled, right? You can see, so you might look at it and you say, maybe this consolidation here coming back into the range of the 1-2, maybe. You'd be wrong. What else could it be? You know exactly what I'm going to do, right? Why does the market stop there? Golden zone, right? That is always the first question. Why do we stop here? Why don't we keep going? Well, now go fires. All right, so we have this consolidation here as we sit. Now you look at it and say, oh, okay, well now maybe I understand a little bit better about what's going on here as to why we stopped. Now, just because we stopped there does not imply that the low is in. We can understand why it stopped there. All right, so with that said, okay, what can we do with this count? Well, what are we trying to, what's the account implying? Well, hard to, we'll put it down there. Let's take it up to, what do I got? Minuet. Oh, well, that's fine. Here, 1. We got a 2 down here. Now, are we done here? Well, it looks like a WXY to accommodate the potential for this being the pivot at the golden zone. It looks like a WXY would work at best. A, B, C into the X here. Now, A, B. It's a little skinny on the B. Oh, it might be. You might have to do it here. A, B, C into the B. It's a couple of different ways you could read this. You might have a little triangle there, but I think you need that 1, 2 to get it done down here. So I guess we can get this out of here. Can we get a start there? Well, let's go from the daily to the, I got here an F4. Okay. Well, if this is our B, if A, B, C into the B here, slight truncation in the C. So from the A, we'd get our A, B, 1, 2. You're going to have to squeeze it on one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, you're kind of making do with what's here to get the best potential count, right? So the 1 and the 2 look just fine. Now, is that the 3? Well, the 1, 2 looks reasonable to make that interpretation. It looks like you got an impulse here, classic 4 here, maybe be a triangle there, into 1, 2, waterfall, right? That's the most impulsive movement, and then a 3 to correct it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you even have the subdivision in the 3. Now, what's the fly in the ointment there is that the size of the 4 relative to the 2 is not particularly good, and it continues here. The size of this 2 relative to this 4 is a bit skewed. I don't see anything that gives me a better look at it here. Partly because the idea is, can we get a good pivot here, a potential pivot to imply that the Y is in, oh, pardon me, the, oh shit, do I have that Y here? Hang on, WX, yes, pardon me, the Y is in, the C is in, the Y is in, and the 2 is in. I got a little lost in my own count there. Intermediate here's work. Okay, so we've got a candidate for this 2 here, because I can come from this 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got a pretty decent impulse to finish it into a double bottom at a golden zone. Makes you think, well, there's enough here to suggest, okay, well, let's consider the possibility that the low is in on the 2, right? I mean, we are literally at the most highly probable location for the 2. So can we work a count here? Well, is that ideal? No. Can we make some deduction based on what's the broader swing structure? Right. Not much argument there. Oh, Jesus, that thing is annoying because it will not let go of your mouse unless you double click it. All right. Looks like a pretty good 3. Well, what's the next thing you're going to do? Right. I mean, okay. Was it technical? You're a little in between here. Essentially, just is all liquidity, right? So here's just a little liquidity grab before we head down. Okay, so WXABC. Well, what's the alternate? I suppose we might have a triple. WXYXZ. Well, the ABC doesn't play quite as well. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like you want one more down there. That's a candidate here. Let's consider it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a little bit larger degree than we need. So let's just tee it up. It's certainly not an unreasonable alternate. We've done it that way. Let's go, we'll do a minuet here and go, oh, here we'll put it in white here. So one or the other. B, we do it 1, 2, right, for a little better separation here. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It's a little bit of a squish to try and get it done. I'm in log scale. 1, 2. Okay, right. How would that look? Can we pull that off here? Well, let's check it. If that's the 1, that's the 2. Well, 3 would be shorter than 1, but clearly, if indeed this is 4 and this is the 5, well, 3 would not be the shortest. The extension would be in the 1. Either way, you can get yourself done down here at a 2. Now, do we have enough to say, okay, we've got a pivot? Well, certainly we've got an area of demand, right? Just based on price action, right? It comes down here, buyer step in. Now, is that enough to support it? Well, it's a bit of a bumpy start, but this is often the case when you're trying to get a trend change to turn around, big ship to turn around. So we've gone sideways through all of this consolidation. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, can I get a leading diag to come out of here? Well, you've got initial conditions look good. 1, 2, A, B, C. Down for the 4, pretty deep for the 4, but then if I get a 3 here, I'd be pretty comfortable with this labeling. Do I get my, are we going to get algo target? Are we going to get something bigger? We're going to get a big rip in the C, so we get good geometry with the leading diag, 5 being longer than 3, longer than 1. So if this is if we're in here, whether it's A, B, C, or W, X, Y, almost doesn't matter, right? The idea is I've got a good candidate here for a pivot. If it's going to hold as a pivot, no matter how it's labeled, then the implication would be that this is in here, 3, 4, 5 is in here, not to confuse you, but again, it almost doesn't matter, right? So what's the idea? Do we have a pivot here we can work with? Well, for me, I'd want to see this complete, and then I'd be willing to wait for that to come. So if we label it up fully, 1, 2, I'll take a ride on the 3. This one to be watching is probably it looks like you got a Wyckoff schematic in here as we essentially do this. Along this preliminary sell-off, reaction. Probably put your creek right here. Okay, can we get going? All right, so I'm not a Wyckoff expert, but I know the basic gist of it here. So if we can go up here, do we retest? Come back into the zone. Maybe oh shit, you can look at this way. Come back into, all right, so if you're thinking about market structure, can we get into the discount zone here for a decent 2 and then get ourselves on board for the ride for the 3? That's what I'd be looking at right there. Okay, that is XLM. All right, so I'd have this on your radar. I'd like to see that finish, and then so you might put an alert up here at this 4. So if we break this, we know we've got a good candidate here for the 5 of the 1 going in. So anything up here, this is a great example of why I'd encourage you to think long and hard about buying a breakout. It clearly would be a breakout, but your expectation is that we're just completing the 1. So the retrace here would be where the trade opportunity is. And again, you don't need to sit here with a limit order. Wait for that 1, that little retrace, so you can reduce the risk and you know where you're trying to go. All right, okay, that's good. So let's make it 10 minutes into that. Okay, so now I'm going to go to, let's pause it here. I'm going to go to Bitcoin Cash for you. Okay, stand by. Okay, again, from Wanahi, I've got Bitcoin Cash here again. His request is on Binance. So we're not going to have full history here, but that's all right, right? If we can, this was the COVID low. Here's the crater. Does look like we could have a candidate here now, so I'm trying to keep it simple. A, B looks like a C. We got a good candidate down here for, let's just say, a potential low. Oh, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks pretty reasonable. Subdivision is there, a nice 4 here. Clearly not threatening the 1. Got a good in the extension in the 5th. So, and then 1, 2, 3. Here's the 4, 5. Now, can we be digging our way out of that hole? Well, of course, a couple of things you'd check for. How technical is it? Oh, shit, you can probably use either one of these pivots. Okay, right, I mean, same as it ever was, right? So from a 50, we're down here. Here's the algo target, reaction. We go lower. Oh, damn near third target. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's dig down here, see how we look. We know this is technical and algo driven on the way down. Now, do I have a candidate for a low? Oh, let's go to a 4 and see what we get. Okay, decent, right? So if this is our candidate for the low. Let's wick it off here so we got a good look at where we are. So this is the potential pivot. There's an impulse off the low. 1, ABC into a W, ABC into an X. Now A, B looks like one more kick down here. We got to be careful about that low. But let's dig in there a little bit closer. Okay, well, so the first thing you get, again, right, where's the algo, right? That's always the first question you ask. Okay, where's the algo? Well, here's, you're kind of in the pocket here. Let's move you off a touch. What did the algo do last? And has it hit targets, right? So clearly we've got targets here, but first and second hit. Let's go to the second target. Right, this is how it moves. All right, we see sequences here. So again, we're not ticking right to the golden zone, but we're in the pocket. Right, you'd probably call this, I mean, you certainly would call that a double top, right? So we're in liquidity grab, right? We go just a touch higher here, grabbing that liquidity. Down they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like a good A, B, C into a B. So knowing that these things move in sequences. How do we look here? Right back into that same pocket. Here's a 50, tags it, right? So you get a little reaction. It's a 3. We come off of it, but got one more push up. Now, what do you think is happening there? You think maybe that's a liquidity grab here, much like this was a liquidity grab, like this was a liquidity grab? There's a reasonable deduction here. So if we get, look how we get targets down here lined up on top of each other. Now that's going to be cutting it pretty skinny here, because one thing we cannot ever have is the 2 overlapping the start of the 1. So do we get there? Right? Is that's what's underway? Well, remains to be seen. I don't know that I'd be have any interest in being a buyer here, given that count. That's kind of interesting to see if we've got the buy side kicking in here. Looks like we do. All right, so we have a true fib fight. All right, sell side ran into the buy side. How do you do? We'll see how that plays out here, but certainly advantage bears, right? And the Elliott pattern would imply that there's one more kick down here to finish. If this is the B, well, do we even have a 2 candidate? Or are we just working on a 1, 2, 3? We could have a diag, right? 4, something like that. Maybe 3 is a little deeper. We'll get a better impulse here. But shit, if you can buy it down around 100, well, your risk would be to the pivot low. So this would be potentially that's a home run ball. I'm surprised that's coming out of my mouth, but a home run ball in Bitcoin Cash, certainly possible here. Now, again, don't have to sit here with a limit order, although if you're going to buy spot and you're comfortable, parking some capital here, 1, 2, your decision is you want to get stopped out there. Pretty good looking chart. All right, so let's just see. All right, I would have alerts up here. I want to know, or that golden zone. I want to know if for some reason we're going to come up here and do that, and then you might reconsider it. But right now, no reason to alter the Elliott count here and what we see in the way the algo is driving the prices. Path of least resistance remains down here in Bitcoin Cash. Now these are all potentially higher lows, so let's not be too overly assumptive here. I'm really being influenced by, again, the Elliott count and then what the algos have been doing. But this, let's not ignore here that we've got a buy side that is going to stay long until it gets here or it gets stopped out under that 65. Okay, guys. Good choices, Alwin Nahi. Okay, next up I got Nav. Okay, Nav, I'll be right back with that. Okay, next up I've got Nav, who's given us 2 choices here. I've got Chili's against Bitcoin and then Engine Coin against Bitcoin. Now, I'm glad to see some pairing by request against Bitcoin. I was kind of waiting to see this. Now, truth be told, I had to look up Chili's. I didn't know what the hell they were. For those of you that are not familiar, it's relatively new. Chili's is a cryptocurrency for sports tokenization, fueling the world's first scalable sports engagement and rewards platform. Interesting, right? So, I mean, it's obviously had a pretty good 21. This is a little tricky here because, I don't know what our history looks like, but this is the lowest low here as we've broken this low, so we got to start here. It's kind of annoying. I don't know if there's more history, maybe not, but it almost doesn't matter. Okay, so we're working here. What's the, okay, let's simplify if we can. Swing, correct. Swing, right? It's all the market ever does. So, okay, we're up here. We're in between. Now, of course, I'm in log scale. This looks just hideous out of log scale. So here, log is, I think, advantageous and given the range, right? Well supported, and we get a better look at it here. Now, this is, right? It's an educated guesstimate here, but what looks most probable is the ABC here does look pretty good. This is a matter of, okay, what could it be? Well, that's not the greatest looking ABC, but you certainly wouldn't call it anything impulsive. Diag, shit. My view is, at this point, does it really matter? Right, I got a 3, however you slice it. and I got a pretty good rip coming off of it. So swing, correct, swing, right? And impulse, correction, choose your poison there. Now coming off the low here now does look pretty good. So now this is oh shit, what have I got here? I'm on the daily. This is the monthly demand zone. So the 1-2 looks solid. Then yet one looks like a flat here going into the 2. Pretty good rip in the 3 for the impulsive 3. Nice little ABC into the 4. Shallow, but looks like a 23. So if we're pulling from the 2 through the 3. Oh, I'm surprised, actually. So between the 23-38, highest probability zone for the 4. Right now we're a little shy of an algo target, but with that, the algo is not going to be kicking there. There it is. Right, so here, right, we've got our pivot up 50 to the tick, 50 to the tick, 1 or 2 ticks to clear the algo, right? It's always there, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what asset, whether it's against Bitcoin or the dollar, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be there, right? It's the dominant algo in the market. Love it or hate it, that's the reality. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Looks like, well, now, okay, we're going to stay in this channel. Okay, 4. Prior 3, 4, right? Reasonable spot for it. Oh, looks like you might make a case for some of this structure over here to come into play. Been wrestling with this level, so if we can bounce out of here. Now, shit, what do I have? Daily? Looks like you might have a little bit of a 3 going in there. Let's go to an 8 and see how that looks. Oh, I might be looking for a little bit. Well, it's not much of a B, is it? You could still be putting in the A there. Get something like that going. Keep you in line with that channeling. This is tough to make that call right now. When we have 4, let's go to a 2. Looks more like it's impulsive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might be able to talk yourself into 1, 2, 3. Shit, well, it'd be a diag. 1, 2. Shit, I suppose you could do it this way. 1, 2. Oh shit, I got the wrong one. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we'll have to measure here to see if that could be 3, 4, 5. And that doesn't make any sense, though, does it? You don't want this, right? That's going to start to push the 4 too far. Oh, so maybe you're going to go with the diag here. So you're going to go 3, 4, right, overlapping. So this has to be ABC, right? So it has to be a series of 3s, and then a bit more of a. Well, so how can we do it here? Well, if you're okay with the skinny B, you could go A, B, working on the C, because ideally it stays in that channel. Oh, let's see, I'm in log scale as well, so I can't use a regression, but I might do something like that. Looks pretty good. So I've got an A, skinny, but a candidate for the B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like that could be coming in just where you want it to head that direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, B. Looks like one more down. Looks like it's got one more down. So, that's trying to slice it as precisely as you possibly can now. So if you come down here and then we come up, right? Do you want to pick the turn? That's to each trader's prerogative. Likely you're going to hit a little resistance here, right? Just based on market structure, you get a little 3. Looks like you can get into the 3 of the 5. Now, do I know this is coming? Of course not. Right? But just in terms of how you might anticipate or what you might be looking for in terms of ideal entry, if it's going down, right, you might wait for that pivot. Okay, do I have a candidate? Do I have a clean finish here? 1, all right, can I get a little 3 in there? Then work into the 3 with potentially the 3 of the 5, looking for that as a target. No reason, none of this could go high. We might go up here to these demand zones. This would be the low risk, right? Pivot, your stop under the pivot, right? That would be a natural target for liquidity, right? So you got to be prepared for that. But if you did that, right, then you might reevaluate and say, oh, is this a WXY? Did something else happen here if it's taking out that low? But the first premise is that low is going to hold. So no reason to do, it's always better to take the small loser rather than try and fix it. Just take the small loser, reevaluate. What do you see next? Rather than go, oh, okay, well, it's a WXY, so I'm going to give that more room. That's a sequence of bad decisions that can make just a typical, okay, loser into something more substantial. So careful of that. Okay, so let me pause here because he also wants Engine. So bear with me a second. I'll be right. Okay, now we're looking at Engine Coin to Bitcoin on Binance per Nav's request here. Now, this is pretty close here. Again, I don't know if it's a total history, but I don't really think it matters. So if you wanted to call this a we do have a diag. We'd have to call it a diag, right? So if this is a leading diag into a 1, oh shit! Again, it doesn't really matter, right? I got a nice big 3 here to correct whatever this was, right? So now, okay, looks like I got a pretty solid impulse coming up. Well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward actually. Now I'm surprised this was. Or maybe just we're kind of curious to get another look at it, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's hard to miss. Okay, 1 nice little 3 into the 2. Oh shit, right? Probably a WXY into the 4. Again, we're not progressing the trend, so we're just going sideways. Classic 4. That's usually easy to spot the 4. Up for the 5 gives us a good impulse to complete here. Never threaten the 1, so pretty good looking. Now, okay, 4 to the 2. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. This looks like it's too much of a force fit to try and it's all self-contained. Again, I emphasize this because this has been invaluable to me on my own trading journey. So when I see them self-contained like that, I want to complete here. Now, would that be enough, right, for the 2? Well, we pinged the 50. You know, got a tick or 2 through the 50 here, so you know you've got an algo participating with a target up here. That said, okay, I feels like you'd be a force fit here. So is it enough that could that be the B? Yeah, I suppose it could, but it kind of looks to me like it needs to do something like this, and then one more time we come down here, finish that C at a golden zone here. Now, again, this is I'm filling in a lot of blank space here. Do I know that's happening? Of course not. But that said, you can see how this would come together. So you start putting the pieces together. Okay, so there's that. Okay, could I see this pinging the 50 of the golden zone? Well, certainly, you know there's going to be resistance there. It would spread the time component out, so the length of time of the 1 relative to the 2 might look a little bit better. I mean, of course, this could be the A, right? You probably wedge it in there, but this would just be a cleaner, better-looking count here. I'd feel much. I'd want to be more aggressive down here if I could get into something like that, right? To get that coming off of a good 2, a technical 2. We're coming down here. This is the what is this one? Oh, I'm on a daily, so this is the monthly demand zone here. So we'd come in, we'd have an algo target hitting at the golden zone. Down here at some long-term demand. We've completed the impulse, clear 3. Again, we don't have any of this here, but that's what I'd be looking for here. Now, the one caveat is that if we start to go here, how would you know, right? You're not going to know, and even still, you won't know if that's truly a 3 until you start. You get a 4 or 5, right? I mean, there's no way to distinguish it here. More so, how would you make that distinction, right? You wouldn't be able to tell. There's nothing here. You'd have to wedge. Oh fuck! You'd have to wedge an ABC into this, and it really looks like an impulse to think 1, 2, 3. But then wait, other side of that coin, shit, we could have the B up here. I mean, technically we'd have the B up here. But once you're here, now you're thinking, oh wait a minute, do I have to rethink this? Right? Is this a completed ABC? I'd be reluctant to go there until the market forced me, meaning, right? I mean, again, so my trade-off would be, because I don't see that here, I would let this go, and if I miss that, well, shit, you miss it, right? You're not going to get everything, and then I'd wait for the 4 to try and get to the 5 and go, well, I'll be damned, the 2 was in over here. Oh shit, I suppose here's an alternate on the fly. Maybe we could do something like this. Oh, let's get you a 2 here. So I don't want to distort that. I don't want to fuss with that impulse. So maybe, right, as an alternate, right, if we see something like this, you'd be back here thinking, oh, maybe I got something like that, right? So here I've just got a skinny 4 and a tiny little 5, and this is A, B, and I can keep that impulse in play here, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that would be your alternate, rather than to try and squeeze a 3 in here. Nab, I think that would look better. Well, look better. Certainly, it would look better, which means, at least in my mind, I'm more comfortable in the trade because I've got pattern here and time. the swing structure and the time relationship, while this is a bit of a, is it a force fit? Well, what does it have going for it, right? It's all self-contained. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, right? It's a candidate, right? Could be, right? So how are we going to know? Well, okay, first let's start knocking down the resistance, right? We got to clear the 50, got to clear the golden zone. Now you've left on the table that distance. So it's a little bit of, you know, how much do you like this project, right? And how much are you convinced it's going to outmove Bitcoin? That's the play here, right? Engine's going to roll, right? Trading it against Bitcoin. It's a tricky one. It's a good choice. Good choice. Right now I see it a little bit better. It looks so obvious. I was kind of surprised you picked this one, but now that I look at it, I can see how this could be. You can interpret this a couple of different ways, which I don't know if that's good news or bad news, but oh shit. Either way, right? So is there a trade here? Well, let's think about that. Is there a trade here? Knowing that this is all potentially up here. This is the preferred count because I think it's easier to read. Well, if this is going to be ABC or 1, 2, 3, why not take a trade here? Well, let's look at it. You can work in. Oh shit! Do we have to go with a diag? We might. Looks like we might. Oh, get out of there. Sonar, get off of there just for a second, so I can see it. Did we sneak through there? Nope, we didn't. Right, so there's the overlap. So you got to work it as a diag. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C into the 5. Okay, so candidate for the 1. This kind of again is, well, okay. Let's see. I'm still on a daily. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. I don't love it, but let's see if we can get something to work there. 1, 2. Oh, maybe 3. That's an ugly finish, isn't it? Not much of a 5. Let's label it up. This is reasonable alternate. A, B. Same thing. The implication is we're going lower. Let's get you up a degree and get you in yellow here. Maybe, right? Are you comfortable with that one? I might. Not sure I love that one. Let's just see how technically we are. God damn it. How we react here. Right, when we see, how do you know it's an algo? It's not this. It's this. It's the reaction at the target. Right? That's not. I promise you, it's not random. So we get okay 1, 2. We're working on the 3, 4, 5 here. It doesn't look particularly ripe for a buy just yet. Frankly. Oh, okay. So if that were the C and we're working the alt here, your thought would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The implication is for lower prices here. You know, let's see. Probably got a demand zone here somewhere over here. Oh, probably use all of that there. So coming down to challenge this low. It's not the greatest looking start, but it's a contender. Right? So where are you compromising here? So my first thought is that the A is coming in here, and okay, if that's the B, oh, pardon me. Let's look at it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hate that 5th. Well, fuck, I'm still on an 8-hour here. Let's take a closer look. All right, we're digging in here. That could fly. You got a pretty good looking 3 there. You might do it here. A, B, C into the 4. So 1, 2, 3. Not much there to finish it. Into the B here, you'd have to go. Well, let's see. A, B. So this would be the A over here. B, you'd have to go 1, 2. Shit. That's got to be the 1. So can we get it done? 1, 2. Boy, that's a rough bugger right there. It looks like A, B, C, D, E. It looks more like a triangle. A, B, C, D, E. Well, so here, if I open it up, you would need to go diag because there's a clear 3. So if you went 1, 2, if you're thinking 1, 2 again, it looks like A, B, C, D, E. It looks like a triangle. I can't say I love this here. Okay, so Elliott aside, right? The Elliott's a bit unclear here. I would need a little bit more. I want to say I, right? So if it's me trading this here, I want a little more reveal here. This is telling, right? So we know the algos are playing this. All right, they play everything. So maybe we've got to work this into a, what else can we look at here? A here, triangle B. So 3, 4. A, B, C, D, E. It's not gorgeous, but perhaps triangle B, and now we're working on the C. The E, all of it implies lower prices for the B to complete, and then as we were looking at it before, can I get into a C to take me out of here, which could be 1 or, well, we'll see. I mean, if this is the A and this is A, B, C, well, again, the implication is lower prices. So let's go back to that 4. All right, back to the 8 and see if we can put that together. All right, so we're still looking at completing the B wave here. I'm just giving you a different alt. C, A, B, maybe, right? We'll see, right? So it would be easier to accommodate a B here, and then you're looking for 5 into the C, into the B, and then the last push to give you the C of the 2 would be the push down here to get to the golden zone. All right, there you go. Okay, now there you go. Hope that helps you. It gives you a few things to think about. All righty. Okay, so let me keep moving up. I got oh shit. Who I asked for charts here. I got them now. Okay, okay, guys. If I can't finish this, I'll bundle this up on. I'll do half today and half tomorrow because now you guys are starting to post more. I got a pretty good. I got Orly's looking for 3 or 4 more. Maybe I'll pick 1 or 2 here, and then I'll bundle this, and we'll release them. Some today and some tomorrow. Okay, guys, back in just a second.